Hey YouTube, this is Carbine Cowboy, Montana Mountain Man, coming to you again from the great state of Montana. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to talk to you about some knives that we use here in Montana for general purpose, for hunting, and anything else that we happen to feel a knife has to be used for. The one thing that you are not going to see in this video, that you may have seen in other videos, is batoning, where they take a good quality knife, stick it in a block of wood and beat the piss out of it. No, that's not going to happen. They make a tool for that. It's called an axe. Okay? We don't use these knives for that. We use these for skinning, gutting, light utility work. We don't beat them up. The one I want to talk to you about first that I have carried for a long time, this is the USMC KBar. Now, I've had this knife since 1996, and I have carried this knife hunting, fishing, whatever you want to call it, for a long time. It's made out of 1095 carbon steel blade, and this is a really nice knife. It holds a razor's edge. I really could not find a better utility knife than this KBar. Wouldn't you agree? Don't you happen to have the smaller version?
I do, and actually I have the USMC KBar once again, but I bought it in the junior model because, well, for me I didn't need the full size because it's too big for me. I'm a smaller kid, smaller hands, and this one fits me perfectly fine, and it will do the same exact thing his will.
The other knives that we use, I have one here. It's handmade out of McCall Knife Works. This one has an oak handle. I really like the gentle sweep of the blade, the curvature. I use this one a lot for skinning. It's really a nice blade. It too is made out of a high carbon metal, and it too holds a razor sharp edge. Some of the other ones that I use, they're not so expensive, but it gets the job done. And that's this little one that I have here. It's a little gut hook knife. I've had it for about 25 years. And I got to admit, for being a $20 knife at the time, it really works well. If I had one complaint about it, is I wish the gut hook was a little bigger. But other than that, the general slope of the blade, and this thing stays as sharp as a razor blade. So I really can't complain. It's been a really good knife. I've probably carried it more than I have anything else. What are some of the other ones you carry?
The ones I carry is this Remington right here, and I use this as my gut hook knife and skinning purposes, and it has worked very well for me, and I've had this for about 3.5, 4 years, and it holds a razor sharp edge, and I've never had any complaints with it, and it fits my hand perfect, and it has the little finger grip, and the grip is actually really nice, not soft, but you don't want that on a knife. I carry this Colt that actually was bought for me, and I did a little engraving on it when I was in welding shop in sophomore year in high school. But this is what I use for skinning, and everyone looks at me and says, well, shouldn't be a skinning knife because it's too big. Well, for me it works perfectly fine, holds a razor sharp edge, and we have skinned multiple deer with this knife and can't complain.
Can you still buy them knives? They still make them?
I have no idea. I didn't buy it, so I couldn't tell you on that.
I know from what little bit I've got to looking at it, I really enjoy it. It's a really nice knife. It is made by Colt. I do know it holds a really nice edge. It is made out of a quality steel blade. So have you ever had any problems with it rusting?
No.
No rusting issues whatsoever?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Well, what do you really think of some of the newer knives they're coming out with today compared to some of the older ones that you have and have used? Do you think the quality and all that's about the same, or do you prefer the old carbon steel blades over the stainless steel?
I prefer the older ones, definitely. The newer ones to me, not just the knife blade quality, but they're trying to get too funky and look nice knives where I kind of just want something to do a job.
Basically for skinning, light utility work, and that kind of thing. So tell me, this is the old World War II V-42 stiletto. What is the deal with that? What do you use this for?
That one I really haven't used. I kind of just like the looks of it, and it's double bladed. It's not a thick blade, it doesn't bend, but I kind of bought it just because I liked it at the time. And I haven't found a use for it, but that may change. And I also like this little knob, so...
I don't believe they call it a skull cracker.
Yeah. Haven't used it yet, though.
I have kind of a similar knife. This one's made in Germany. And this was made by the Hofritz Knife Works. This one was made, back around World War II. It too is patterned after the V-42 stiletto. It's a double-edged blade. And I got to admit, for most of my applications, I don't really need a double-edged knife. But I do have to admit, it holds a really, really nice edge. And I got to kind of admit, I kind of like the feel of it in the hand. I don't really use it much, but it does make a good knife. But I have to admit, the one thing that we do always do with any knife is you try to keep them clean. You try to keep them oiled to keep them from rusting. And if they have leather sheaths, like the KBar, what I do with mine is I keep them cleaned up. I give them a pretty good dose of saddle soap or neat's foot oil every once in a while. And it keeps the leather really soft and pliable, because the problem you have with the leather sheath is if you do not keep it treated, it will dry out, it will crack. And the thing that I personally like about leather, unlike some of these nylon sheaths, is if the leather does get a cut or a tear, or if the stitching comes undone, in the field you can fix these by sewing them, by carrying a stitching awl or even a regular needle and thread. I mean, they can be fixed, and if something does break on them, all you have to do is find a scrap piece of leather, and there you go. They're not as bad as what people make them sound. I mean, I realize it's old technology, but we still wear leather shoes and have leather belts, don't we? We still carry quality firearms and leather holsters, leather rifle slings. So even though they do require a little bit of maintenance, they are a good sheath. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would like to add? What's the deal with this deer antler knife?
That's the one you bought me for my first deer knife.
I remember that. I haven't seen you carry it much, but it's a nice little blade. This one too is made in Germany, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see you still kept something that I bought for you. Anyway, we just thought we would do this nice little sit-down talk video with you. If you have any questions about the knives, go ahead and ask. Like I said, we use these for light duty. We don't baton them. We don't chop down trees with them or cut up cinder blocks or as you've seen some people do, that we don't stick them in a vise and bend them and twist them and break them. A knife is a knife. They can save your life in a survival mode. They can do some of the things that you've heard them do. But, I want these knives to be around for a long time. I truly enjoy them. They all have their intended purpose, and we all use them for an intended purpose. But you'll never see me chopping down a tree or splitting a 12 or 14 inch chunk of firewood or sticking it in a vise and bending it and twisting it. That's not what a knife was designed for. They were never really designed for that. And to me, if you're going to be doing that kind of work, they make other tools, hatchets, axes, machetes, that were designed for that. So, with that being said, from the great state of Montana, this is the Carbine Cowboy and the Montana Mountain Man saying, enjoy yourself, have fun, and be safe, and have a good evening.